My name is Zach Norch, and my book report is over A Brief History in Time by Stephen Hawking. Hawking is a world-renowned physicist. His goal with this book is to bring the complex ideas of physics in the natural world and convert them into layman's terms so the everyday person can understand them. And basically, he wants to educate everybody on these ideals. He feels that that's important for everybody to understand these things. So in the book, he discusses, primarily in the beginning, he discusses different astrological, theological ideas. He discusses Aristotle. He looks at, how he was segregated and correct, and he also looks at how whenever he thought he was correct, he was wrong in believing that the Earth was the center of the universe. So what I want to talk about are the three theories stated in his book that he focuses on. The first one is that theories can never be proven. So this basically means that we can observe something over and over and over again, but it does not mean that it is finite. It can change, things can change as we develop new information. The way we look at things changes. So I feel like that's kind of a concept that we talked about within this class, is just because there is some sort of new evidence, whether it be for evolution or something along those lines, it doesn't mean that we have to disagree with it, that we have to say it's not real. We can go ahead and accept, hey, just because that's true doesn't mean that our faith isn't true. And I think it's important to remember that going on so that we can both be educated in the scientific mindset and in the Christian mindset. Second, time is not fixed due to the speed of light. So what that means is that the way we interpret time is relative. Okay? So yes, the speed of light is constant, but the way in which you move with it and things like that are different. So whenever the Bible states, a time frame or things like that, we have to understand that, our concept of time may be different than what God's is. Our minds are not meant to fully comprehend what He can do. He is beyond what we can understand, and it's important that we understand the simplisticness of ourselves and understand that He has separated Himself another way, and use the Bible to understand Him the best way we can, but understand that just because we believe something does not mean that that has to be true based on what God has in store. Finally, time can only move forward. So the first thing we look at is entropy. Entropy is constantly increasing. So if you have a mug, a coffee mug, and you set it in one place, and you knock it over, it's going to break. Okay? But the coffee mug will never restructure. Okay? Another reason for this another reason that time always goes forward, is if you think about a lifespan, we would have to die before we could live. Obviously, as far as we know, none of these things have happened. So it also means that, we're moving farther and farther along in the world. Basically, the idea I want to take away from this book is, Stephen Hawking, actually an atheist, whenever he passed away just a few months ago, but he believed, like stated a minute ago, that the world is always changing. Everything is always changing. The way we interpret things is always changing. Aristotle, one of the most brilliant minds of his time, believed something that we know today to not be true. And we have to understand that as the world changes, we need to change with it. And just because something proves us wrong doesn't mean that we're ignorant, or it doesn't mean we're ignorant. It doesn't mean that we can't comprehend things. It doesn't mean we're too stupid. It doesn't mean we don't have the mental capacity. It just means there's new evidence and we need to move on. That being said, I think it's very important that we stay strong in our faith as Christians. I think it's very important that we try to tie science into it to help the world, including Christians, understand how everything works and how great God is by using science as a tool, not using it or not looking at it as something that goes against our beliefs. So A Brief History in Time by Stephen Hawking. Thank you very much.